So, welcome to LiberalViewer First Wednesday Live Q&A. This is the live show I do on the first Wednesday of every month where I take questions on any topic from my viewers, either posted before the show starts or posted in the comments section as the show is going live. This show, I've only gotten a couple questions asked of me before the show started today. So it may be a short show, which I don't mind, but I want to start off the show before I get to those questions. I want to tell you a story about YouTube's Kafkaesque email system or email support system. And I've taken several screenshots as visual aids, so get yourself comfortable. This is a kind of scary story of what it's like to try to interact with YouTube when you're a YouTube partner trying to get help with videos. And I'll start by talking about what happened last February after I left my multi-channel network, Maker Studios, because I didn't really think I was getting that much help for my channel for the amount it was taking from my earnings. So now that I'm not part of a network, I wanted to have email support from YouTube, and I checked, and at that time, last February, you needed 15,000 hours of people watching your videos. That's the total amount of time people spend watching your videos. 15,000 hours in the last 90 days. And I had like 60,000 hours. So, but I still wasn't being able to get email support when you click on this link in the help section. And so I posted a question about it over in the Google product forums for YouTube partners. My account not eligible for direct email consultation even though I meet criteria. And I explained it all, and I said I had 60,000 hours even though they were asking for only 15,000 hours. And I never got any response to that, but I did notice several days later, a week later, I can't remember exactly how long, but here you can see they raised the number of hours that you need to have people watch your videos in order to get direct email support. They raised it from 15,000 to 75,000 hours, just 15,000 above what I had. So I don't know if that was, I think it would be a little self-centered of me to think that was directed at me personally, but it was a little frustrating that after I asked for help getting the email support that they raised the level just above what I had. But then something happened in the last few weeks. Around July 15th, one of my old videos, Fox News bias for Israel in Gaza conflict, which has some Daily Show clips back from like 5 years ago, Jon Stewart criticizing media coverage of the last, that was actually 2 Gaza conflicts ago. But anyway, since July 15th, that video's gotten over 300,000 views, and it's pushed up my number of hours watched in the last 90 days to over 75,000. And you may have noticed on that support page there that if you've confirmed that you should be eligible for email support but don't have that option to email us, you may fill out this form. So I clicked on that link. Here's the form. I think I meet the eligibility criteria to contact YouTube support, and I filled it out and I sent it in. And I was thinking, oh, I'm going to be able to get email support. And the reason it was actually important that I get email support at that moment was that video that had gotten the 300,000 views, it said it was monetized, but there were no ads and no earnings. So I had gotten 300,000 views as a YouTube partner, but there were no earnings from that video. And so I wanted to email someone and say, can you please put ads on that video while the Israelis and Palestinians are still fighting, which I guess that isn't such an urgent problem, unfortunately, and I'll get to that in one of the questions I was asked. But so yeah, the day after, this is like last week, I sent this form in, and the next day I did get an email from someone calling herself Lori. You can see the email here. It came from support@support.youtube.com, and it said, thanks for reaching out to us, and we don't understand what your problem is. Can you send us a screenshot to clarify what's going on? And okay, I'm fine with that. I thought it was pretty simple what was going on. I didn't have email support, but here I got an email, so I replied to the email. Here's the reply I sent. I said, right like an hour after I got it, hi Lori, I've attached a screenshot just like you asked of the problem I'm having, and I'm eligible, and then I even explained the problem with this video that wasn't being monetized. That's why, can you help me with that, please? I would really like to get ads next to that video, and I sent it back. But guess what? That email, support@support.youtube.com, when I sent that email back to YouTube, this is the message I got. You are receiving this automated reply because you have sent email to an invalid email address. If you are looking for help, please visit the YouTube Help Center. And that's the place, if you remember, that I started back in February. That's why I call the whole thing very Kafkaesque. I also, since it was support@support.youtube.com, I also tried support@youtube.com. But all I've been able to do since then is submit that same form every morning. I submit that same form, this one, where I think I meet the eligibility criteria to contact YouTube support, and I submit that form every morning. But so far, since that one morning at the end of last week where I got 3 emails in a row from Lori, all saying the same thing, I guess that's all I'm going to get from YouTube right now. But anyway, I wanted to tell you that story. I hope those of you who showed up to watch my live Q&A enjoyed my story of the Kafkaesque YouTube support system. Now I'm going to answer a couple questions that were asked to me before I started the show here. And then if I don't have any more questions, I will just end the show before 5 o'clock. That's fine. Let's see. The first question I had asked was over on my Facebook page. That's facebook.com/LiberalViewer. Kenneth Spear asked, do you think the ceasefire between Israel and Hamas will last this time? Well, I mean, it's lasted this far. Most of them haven't lasted this long, and that's a good sign. And I guess if you're going to analyze whether a ceasefire is going to last, you have to decide whether the two sides that can break the ceasefire, if they've met their war aims. And I think Israel has pretty much met its war aims, at least its tactical aim of dismantling all of those, what they call the terror tunnels, or the tunnels that Hamas was building in Gaza to, pop up on the Israeli side and cause havoc there. It's a little bit, the other big Israeli war aim that I discussed in my Liberal Viewer Sunday Live Clip Roundup shows the last couple weeks is to try to delegitimize Hamas and separate Hamas from the people of Gaza and get them out of this unity government with the other Palestinian faction, the PLO Fatah faction that runs the West Bank. And that, I think, is going to take some more time to see how that's going to play out. Apparently, in the negotiations, they may give the PLO Fatah wing of the Palestinians control over the crossings between Gaza and Israel and Gaza and Egypt. So that may actually empower that side, which was another Israeli war aim. So if those two war aims are met, then I think Israel may very well, at least on their side, want to keep the ceasefire. On Hamas's side, I'm not sure exactly what their war aims were. They did create a lot of propaganda in terms of showing the brutality of the Israeli occupation, and they publicized this issue about how they're basically under siege and they can't bring stuff in, and there may be some relief for that issue. They've also shown that they've basically created the first Palestinian army, and that they have formidable military force. I think I saw one person talking about how they fired as many missiles on the day before the ceasefire as on the first day of the conflict. So they were firing hundreds and hundreds of missiles every day, and they apparently have thousands more. So I don't know exactly what Hamas's war aims were. The Israeli war aims made more sense to me, although what Israel was doing to meet those war aims, as I was saying on my Sunday show last Sunday, shelling UN schools. What's the point of that? I hope that was a mistake, because it just doesn't make any sense. I don't know why Israel would do that. I understand what Israel's aims were. I just don't understand how they went about achieving them. On the Hamas side, I'm not even sure exactly what their aims were beyond what I said, but apparently they've both gotten enough out of the conflict so far that they're willing to stop at this point, at least for on a temporary basis. So if it's held this far, I think it should hold through negotiations. But I also saw another pundit say no one ever lost money betting against peace between Israelis or in the Israeli-Arab conflict. So I don't know. They might have lost money around the time of the Camp David Accords when Jimmy Carter was president, but that was kind of a different time, and things seem a lot more divided, a lot less chance of peace now than there were back in those days in the late 1970s, I'm sad to say. So anyway, that's the best answer I can give to that question. Let me see how many people. Oh, got up to about 10 people watching the live show, which let me see if you've posted any comments. Well, I see there that Pat's Rules 213 has been posting several comments, but I don't know, is the comment system not working? I gave a link, but well, I can see the comments here. I just guess no one else is posting comments. But the last question I have here was actually posted by Pat's Rules 213. Says, my question is about third parties. Should we be encouraging third parties to run like the Green Party or the Libertarian Party, or is the two-party system good enough for me? Well, it's not. I took a little drink of water there while that was up, but it's not so much whether it's good enough for me. I think that there are people who, I think the fallacy of people who support third parties is that somehow it's the system, the two-party system, that stops third parties from getting more power. And I think it's more the electorate that it's actually that these third and fourth and fifth parties can't get as many votes as the Republican and the Democratic Party, that their positions put them more out of the American mainstream, which is kind of a centrist country. I mean, it depends on how you ask the poll questions, and there are a lot of liberal, I mean, basically people like a lot of liberal government programs, but they don't like paying for them. So that makes them both liberal in terms of wanting the programs and conservative in terms of not wanting to pay for them. So does that make people centrist? I guess it kind of does make them centrist. But I also, as I've discussed on previous shows when the third party issue has come up, I think that there is a benefit in the United States to our two-party system in the way the Electoral College and our Congress system, rather than a parliamentary system where smaller parties can get a few seats and then start building up power and gain power through coalitions in the parliament. We don't have that in the United States, and it's kept us more centrist, and it's why we haven't veered quite as far to the left in terms of communism and to the right in terms of fascism as some other countries, although I know some of my viewers think that we are a fascist country at this point. But I'm talking like Nazi Germany fascists, if people are willing to make that distinction, which I'm certainly still willing to make that distinction. And I guess that's my best answer to that question. Over in the comments section, I see Debunker says I'm here. But all the other questions seem to be from Pat's Rules 213. I see. Is it just me, or is it that the question shows keep getting shorter, but the Sunday shows keep getting longer? Well, as I was saying, I think there are only about, I'm up to like 11 people for the question show. I usually have like 100 people or more or 90 to 100 people for the Sunday show. The shows keep getting longer just because I try to take all the important clips, and I don't really think about how long it's going to take until I count them up at the end. And some shows I've been getting like 45, 50 clips, and it takes almost, I guess the longest show was 2 hours, and I had a couple hour and 40-minute Sunday shows, although I kept the last one down to 90 minutes. But anyway, and when they get that long, I can't answer questions at the end, and I was hoping I'd be able to take questions of all kinds here, but I don't know, maybe people aren't as used to this show because I do the Sunday show every week, and this one's only once a month. So let me see. I'll see if there's one or two more questions down there, and then I'll just finish up the show. Let's see. I see you. Pat's Rules 213. Oh, Pollock Fury said, "Why did Warren lie about her background in being Native?" Well, of course, there's an assumption in that question that Elizabeth Warren lied about having Native American blood in her background or whatever. And I haven't really looked into that issue really closely, but from what I understand, she was relating something that she heard from her family and hadn't researched in terms of DNA or genetics, and I don't even know that it's not true. So I'm not sure I buy the premise of that question from Pollock Fury there. Is that how you pronounce that? Pollock Fury, maybe? Debunking Debunker says, "I love LiberalViewer." Pat's Rule 213, "We should abolish the Electoral College." Farter1234 just says, "True." Well, I appreciate all of you who showed up for the live show. I tried to... Oh, Michael Tirada, "What do you think of expanded trade in Africa?" I'm for it. Who wouldn't be for expanded trade in Africa? Well, I suppose if it's mercantilist trade where we drain Africa of resources, then I'm against it. But free trade that helps build up African economies, that's where there's a lot of the fastest growing economies are in Africa, and China's actually been doing a lot to not only take natural resources out of Africa, but build up partnerships that develop some of those countries. But Africa has been the recipient of a lot of negative economic conditions due to European colonialism in the past, and I think hopefully, there was just this Africa summit, and I watched President Obama's press conference at the end, even though it was delayed for an hour, and there seems to be some optimism and hope for economic growth and trade with Africa. So maybe the 21st century will turn by the end to be the African century, though it's looking more to be the Asian century. Like the 20th century was the American century. I don't know. You can let me know what you think in the comment section. I think, Sir Just for Whistling says, "What do you think will happen if Time Warner is bought by Murdoch?" Well, actually, news today, Murdoch withdrew his bid for Time Warner. So thank God for that, which I say not in a theistic way, but just as an expression. But I am glad. From what I heard, they would have had to sell off CNN, and CNN would have been, there was that whole Daily Show thing where he started a Kickstarter to buy CNN, and he raised over $1 trillion from bogus donations to his Kickstarter. And but no, I don't want to see any more power going to Rupert Murdoch. And although I think actually I finished reading that book, The Loudest Voice in the Room, from Gabriel, is it Sherman, I think. I'm almost done with the book after that, the new Jim Crow about mass incarceration. But in that one, it seemed like Roger Ailes was the real conservative person at Fox News, and Rupert Murdoch has some conservative views, but he's much more interested in making money. And if he can make money from running CNN as a liberal network, although he'd have to sell it off, like I said, but I think Rupert Murdoch would be much more willing to do things that were not as ideologically conservative as what Roger Ailes, who's in charge of Fox News, he's the real ideologue. And I think Rupert Murdoch has made some alliances with Hillary Clinton that shows that he's not a right-wing ideologue, although Hillary Clinton isn't as far to the left as I might like. But I appreciate all of the live questions that I got from people. And what happened there? I was trying to just close the comment box. I'm gonna finish up the show here. I hope you enjoyed my answers, and I hope you'll join me for LiberalViewer first Wednesday live Q&A next month, which will be the first Wednesday of the month. I can't even remember what the first Wednesday of September is. And I also want to tell you that I am still working on this edited, produced video that I'm hoping to have up on Thursday or Friday called hold on, where is that? the script for that one. It's I haven't worked. I guess I haven't worked on it long. It's about it's a Fox News attacks atheists for fighting tax-exempt church electioneering. I think that's what it's going to be called, and it's about a fight about whether tax-exempt churches, whether the pastors in tax-exempt churches can endorse candidates from the pulpit and still claim their tax exemption with the IRS. And hopefully that video will be up Thursday or Friday of this week, so look for that. Thank you all for joining me, and I'll be doing my regular Sunday live clip roundup this Sunday at 6:30 p.m. Pacific, so I hope you'll all join me then, and I'll be seeing you all around the internet.